All right, let's go ahead and get started. I know Pat will be joining us momentarily here. So good morning, everybody. My name is Lisa Grout. I work for HR Elements. I'm a senior HR advisor. So HR Elements has been teaming up with the Covington Business Council to put together these chat um, events for you. So we're pleased to be here today. So HR Elements, we're an HR consulting firm based here in Covington, and we provide customizable HR support and solutions to our clients. So again, we thank Pat and everybody at the Covington Business Council for having us this morning. So I will be moderating, and so we are very grateful to have Catherine Glover on with us today. So Catherine is the Center Director and Business Coach at Northern Kentucky University Small Business Development Center. So this is part of a statewide group of business consultants that serve under the umbrella of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center. So Catherine is a 20-year veteran organizational leader of local, regional, and statewide chambers of commerce, tourism bureaus, workforce and career development partnerships, broad spectrum community relations and planning initiatives, economic and community development collaboratives, as well as trade associations. So Catherine has spent her entire career ensuring vigorous and supportive environments for businesses and communities of all sizes, with a strategic focus on business assistance at every stage. So this starts from ideation and business development planning to marketing strategies on to succession planning and selling your business. So Catherine received her master's degree in civic leadership from Lipscomb University in Nashville and her bachelor's in organizational management and leadership from LaGrange College in Georgia. So long intro there, Catherine, but thank you so much for being with us today. And it looks like Pat has joined us as well. So thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, Catherine, we'll hand it over to you.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. First of all, thanks for this opportunity. I was going to come and present, if you will, in person, was invited in, and of course, everything happened. So now I have the opportunity to meet you all virtually, and I'm very appreciative of that. Lisa had mentioned the NKU SBDC, and just briefly, we offer assistance to small business development for small businesses across the United States. There's about 11 centers in Kentucky, and we are at the College of Business at NKU. So we're not just there for assistance in crisis, although we're very honored to be able to serve right now and hopefully help everybody. But in general, we're planning, capital acquisition, environmental management, operations, technology, anything your business may need, a small business in particular. So look to us as a resource moving forward. Bear with me as I'm working with technology. Lisa was kind enough to help me with everything this morning. But I think the most important thing to start out with right now is what resources are available to businesses that you can access. You've probably had a lot of information coming your way over the last probably 2 or 3 weeks with the passage of the CARES Act, and then everything that provides to small businesses. And indeed, the criteria and some of the programs have changed, sometimes on a daily basis, but in my opinion, all for the good of small businesses. So what I'd like to do is just start with an overview of what is available right now to small businesses. So let's get in there, and I'll bring that up. So right now, what you're seeing is a document, and every document I share will be as concise as possible, but most importantly, will be available after this chat. So hang in there with me. I'm just going to.
Catherine, this is Lisa, sorry. It looks like you started sharing your screen, but we don't see anything currently.
Okay.
Double click the screen that you were wanting to select. It looks like we're almost there.
So I'm showing all of you and the screen.
Maybe back out one and try it again.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, everybody.
No, that's okay. We're all learning this new technology. We did it earlier, so I know we can do it.
Right. Can you see that?
There we go. Perfect.
All right, thanks. Thanks for letting me know. So this is a one pager, and businesses across the state can go to one centralized website, which is most important because that is the most updated website for small businesses, and that's through Kentucky Small Business Development Center. You see the URL on the upper right, kybizhelp.com. We're all working on a daily basis to make sure this is the most up-to-date and accurate source for businesses. In the emergency loans through the SBA, there's the 7A loan payment relief program, which is set up for businesses that right now have 7A or loan programs with your local lenders guaranteed by the SBA. I'm going to skip by that because more people that will probably be on this call than not may not have that relationship with the local lenders yet, but that'll be on the sheet I share. The most popular and perhaps the most important resource right now is the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. That's up to $2 million, businesses fewer than 500 employees, which is pretty much the majority of businesses across the United States, let alone Kentucky. This can be made based solely on credit scores. And there are programs for people that may not have the best credit scores as well. The interest rate is fixed at 3.75%, and it is up to about 30 years, so extremely favorable loans. What the SBA has just brought into play about a week or so ago is an advance through this loan program. Most important because it's meant to expedite cash in your pockets to keep your businesses going. And that's an advance of up to $10,000. Now, you'll see it says within a few days or several days of applying for the loan. We haven't heard yet of people receiving the money in their accounts, but we hope that this will happen quickly. This loan is directly from the SBA, directly from the federal government, so the checks electronically will be deposited from the Treasury into your business account. You've also heard about, I'm sure, the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP. This is a very big opportunity created for businesses to retain your employees. So it will be deferred for up to 12 months. And this one is directly through your local lenders that have to be SBA approved lenders. And we have lists of all of these. And again, everything I share, we will send to you afterwards. I'll work with Pat and his team to make sure that happens. But again, up to 500 employees, the interest rate will not exceed 4%, and right now is about 0.5%. Usually with SBA loans, you have what's called no credit elsewhere test standard. That's waived for this program. This is the PPP. In this document, there are 4 overviews: EIDL, Advanced, PPP, and the Advanced program. Again, this is going to be all sent to you afterwards. I'll take a quick reprieve, see if there's anybody that has questions on this. I'm going to move on to the next document.
And for the participants, so we have everybody, we're using a Zoom webinar feature, so just as a reminder, so that's why you may not be able to see yourself. If you have questions, you are able to type those in the chat feature, and then I can update Catherine with those questions. So again, if you have questions as we go along, just feel free to type those in the chat box.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. So the Paycheck Protection Program opened up on Friday. Now, some banks weren't as prepared as others. There are others, myriad, that are applying right now to become SBA guaranteed lenders. The intent is to work locally and expeditiously. So again, we can get more cash in the pockets of businesses. So eligibility, I mentioned fewer than 500, independent contractor, gig economy, sole proprietors. Yes, you qualify for this. Maximum amount is 250% of your average payroll expenses. It's a pretty basic formula. It's intended to cover up to about 8 weeks of payroll and any additional amount that you may make towards debt obligations. This loan is forgiven at the end of the 8-week period after you take out the loan. This is pretty exciting, very favorable for cash flow. What's covered? February 15th to June 30th. Borrowers can choose which 8 weeks of impact to your business you want to count towards the covered period. You are not responsible for interest on the forgiven loan amount. And I mentioned the loan interest rate earlier, capped at 4%, right now at about 0.5. Your deadline to apply is June 30th. If you take out a bridge loan, are you eligible? Yes, you can, and you're still eligible. What we've been told by the SBA almost on a daily basis is apply for everything. The best of all situations is you'll have 3 different offers of programs that you can apply for. And you pick which is most advantageous to your business. That said, the loans individually cannot be used for the same purpose. So something to keep in mind there. This is a document, again, I'll send this to you as well. Just quick steps that you should take right now. Talk to your lender. The City of Covington, of course, has the Emergency Rent and Mortgage Business Assistance Program that they've been offering for about a week or 2 now. Phenomenal program. I encourage you to take advantage of it if you can and if you qualify. But talk to your lender about deferral of principal payments. Talk to your insurance agent. You pay your insurance premiums, I'm sure, diligently. And in many cases, small businesses have paid for what's called business interruption insurance. Check into that. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. We have a question that came in, and I don't know if this is a good time for the question, but I'll go ahead and pose it. And then if you're going to get to that point, we can always move forward. But for hairstylists that are independent contractors, such as folks who are renting a booth, what is the preferred loan option and what is eligible to cover if approved?
Well, the EIDL would be the first one to apply for. As a sole proprietor, independent contractor, you do also qualify for the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, and potentially a level of unemployment. So it's important that you just apply for everything. You cannot go wrong, and it will offer some level of hopefully comfort and reassurance. The SBA does have a email address and an 800 number, which granted is a long wait. But if you have any questions specifically about loans, start there. But again, apply for everything. It's not up to me to make the determination, but the level of stringency on loan applications and what is required has been loosened up significantly to help sole proprietors, independent contractors, without a doubt. So apply for everything.
Great, thank you.
Sure. The last thing that I have before I bring up the unemployment site is a checklist for managing in times of difficulty, financial difficulty. This was put together by Kentucky Small Business Development Center. Again, a phenomenal centralized resource of the most updated information for small businesses. I'm not going to go through this, but I'm going to send it to you if you're interested after this podcast, webinar, chat, whatever we're calling this, hopefully informal conversation. But I'll just scroll through quickly to show you that there are many different components here. Improving cash position, improving profitability. These are all very, very relevant. The effective discounting, social media strategies, all of that is in here. And then the last formal document that I have to share is, of course, the unemployment website. And this has been streamlined and updated just as recently as the end of last week. And you'll see right here, I pulled this up just in case we had some barbers, freelance workers, hospitality staff, chefs, contract labor. You're covered here. Go into kcc.ky, but go into days that they've now established by your last name. So Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Sunday A through D, Monday E through H, etc. So with that, I'm going to stop my share and just kind of open this up to dialogue and questions, unless there's something else you want me to bring back up.
All right, attendees, what questions do you have for, let's see here, it looks like we might have one in the me just a second. Question, what if full-time business development salesperson is a 1099 contractor on salary? Should I apply or should the owner of the company do it? Good question.
Are you still actively engaged in a 1099 contract with your employer? To that, I would say yes, the employer should definitely apply. But if you are a 1099, an independent contractor, and you are or are not currently engaged with the business you usually contract with, you want to protect yourself individually as well.
Great. Any other questions for Catherine? Let's see here. Catherine, can you review the list of professionals with whom you should dialogue with? So, lenders, insurance agents, etc.
Sure. Number one, SBA directly, and that's the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. So SBA. Two, or first of all, I didn't mention this, if you have a line of credit with a local lender, consider tapping into that right now. Just another way of keeping your cash flow working for you. So SBA, local lenders, especially and in particular lenders that are SBA qualified or guaranteed as lenders. And that list, that link will be in one of the documents I send. So you can check by zip code which banks are currently SBA approved. And then certainly your insurance providers as well.
Wonderful. And then can you speak, we've had a couple questions regarding just giving a little bit more information about the EIDL and.
All right, I'm going to try to pull up a screen and tell you that let me know if you can see this.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. The documentation that's necessary for what is really an expedited loan program is what I'm trying to bring up right now for you.
Don't see it yet, but we
Okay.
did it once, so we can do it again.
We did. Can you see it?
Not yet.
All right.
Yeah, maybe try it again.
Now?
There we go.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And thanks for everybody's patience. So I'm going to bring you right here to the SBA's website, and you'll see Economic Injury Disaster and Loan Advance, which is the $10,000 that they're moving pretty quickly. If you had applied for EIDL more than a couple of weeks ago, you would have seen a comprehensive, extensive application program, an application process that is much more complicated than it is now. The SBA went in and they revised this. So if you look at this right here, number one, it shows your eligibility. No more than 500. Under a sole prop, without employees, independent contractor. ESOP, small business concern, agricultural cooperative, and so on. This site will take you right into what your documentation needs. Right now, it's very minimal. They want to know who you are. They may ask for your last 2 to 3 years of income tax returns, especially sole props, independent contractors. They will potentially ask you for your level of economic impact if you're a holistic business or your business concern. But the paperwork and the documentation is minimized substantially from when you may have applied or looked at this 2 to 3 weeks ago. Does that help?
Let's see here. Can you, Catherine, do you mind elaborating on eliminating unnecessary expenses that a business incurs on a monthly basis, like parking, if you're working from home, things like that?
Right. So think about anything down to the dollar of expenses that you may be incurring right now, and this takes some time, and you have to do it line by line by line. So for instance, parking, yeah, that's a great one. Do you cover parking? Do you have expenses that you don't need to keep your business running? Can you lower your utility usage? So if you're working from home, you've got a storefront, if you don't need to keep the heat on 70 degrees, 68 degrees. If there are any little tweaks, just like you would at your home, you can adjust. Are you paying people right now? And I'm talking about more so your accountants, your bankers. Are you keeping people on right now? And I'm encouraging that you continue to do that, especially your professional service sector. But is there anything, and only you will know what these businesses are, these expenses are that your individual business can eliminate? It's thinking outside, it's going line by line. Do you have to place orders for inventory right now? Do you have to? It's all individualized. If you're a restaurant and you're currently operational and you're delivering, that may be an additional expense that I would not recommend that you cut back on. It's just so individualistic. It could be just as small as turning that heat down. I'm happy to go into more detail on this, and I can send kind of a list of what you should be looking for. But in that document on managing in challenging times, financial times, that will have a couple of pages that help you consider what those expenses are that could be trimmed a little bit. I know that's vague, but it is very individualistic to your situation of your business.
Yeah. Okay, great. Marilyn indicated that she's already applied for the EIDL, and she's wondering if there might be a subsequent application. Any feedback on that?
When did she apply? Was it within the last week to 10 days? If so, no. And again, I will give the 800 and customer service email address that they have given us, the SBA, for you to check on your applications. If you applied for the EIDL and you received a confirmation number, that is the most important thing to take away from your application, that confirmation number for your loan application.
She applied yesterday and she got a number.
And she got a number. Okay, great. So at this point, we give it a few days. If you are more comfortable in checking back in, I recommend sending an email because you have that path. And then there's always the 800 number as well, which again, during peak hours, you can be waiting for a while, and they're doing the best that they possibly can. I have heard from people that call the number after 10 o'clock at night before 4 a.m. I know that sounds crazy, that they may not have even half as long a wait. But the SBA is being inundated right now.
Okay. And then one of the other participants asked, are we hearing any feedback if PPP loans have been approved or denied yet? And if once they are approved, how quickly will they move the money or get the money?
That is totally the million-dollar question. And I would love to give you the answer. This is going to be relying upon the lender that you work with, so their workload. But as soon as an application is processed, it is conceivably to be able to be turned around much more quickly than the federal loan programs, which is the intent. So reach out to your lender to find out what their processing time is. As the application process just began Friday, April 3rd, it hasn't really been a lot of time to dig in for these lenders. And again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of lenders are now trying to qualify to become SBA guarantee lenders so they can work with you locally. I just don't have a turnaround time for you because it will be dependent on your local lender.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other questions from anybody on the webinar today? I know we're a couple minutes away from 11:30 and want to be sensitive to time. So just a little bit of information. So again, all the links that Catherine shared today will be emailed out from the Covington Business Council, so be on the lookout for that. I also had somebody ask about the recording of this webinar. So we are recording it, fingers crossed it worked right. So we can also certainly send out a link along with those website links from the Covington Business Council as well. So Pat, I don't know if you have anything. I don't see any other questions coming through right now. Pat, I don't know if you have any follow-up or closing comments. And you are on mute currently.
Yeah, let me unmute. Okay, great. First of all, Catherine, excellent job, as I knew you would do. Thank you for being so comprehensive and thorough, and yet boiling it down enough so that those of us that are more challenged with understanding all these different options can understand it. So thank you so much. And we send out daily email updates to our members, and as Catherine sends along these slides, we'll be glad to share those with people that could not take advantage today. So again, Catherine, thank you very, very much. Great job today. And I just also wanted to give a quick plug, and sorry, Lisa, that I had trouble logging on at the front end, but we have a seminar coming up at 11 o'clock on Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 9th, with David Dalton of the Think Shop, talking about branding and things you need to be doing. Catherine made a small reference to that in terms of social media, et cetera. So all that will be covered in that. And then in the next week or so, we're appreciative that HR Elements is helping us with a couple of other webinars that we have coming up. We're going to have both the City of Covington, hopefully, and Judge Knockelman from Kenton County on next week in different webinars talking about what the counties are doing to help small businesses with deferring taxes and different things that they're doing with the City of Covington. I know they have some programs that they're working on as well, so that should be very informative. So stay tuned for details on that, and we'll be sharing those as well. And again, thanks to HR Elements and Lisa and Tina Taylor in helping us to organize and facilitate these discussions.
All righty, everybody. Well, thank you again. Thanks so much for your time, and everybody have a great day and get out and enjoy this weather while it's still warm. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.